This one's for all the dog lovers. It's time for a Daedra's best friend. This daedric quest is also started in Falkreath, similar to Ill Met by Moonlight. However, it has a level requirement of level 10. As we approach the city, a guard will stop us and ask us about finding a lost dog. No matter what the response is, he'll direct us to Lord the blacksmith. Lord will basically repeat what the guard said, he lost a dog, and he'll ask you to try to find it. A persuasion check can be done to get a little bit of extra gold right away, but it's just really pocket change.
Some gold now and some when I have my dog. Here's the meat.
Following the quest marker, we'll head back up the road from where we came to enter the city. After a short walk, we arrive at the quest marker, and we see the dog that we're looking for. He talks. This is Barbas. His master is the daedric prince Clavicus Vile, and he had a falling out recently. Barbas wants us to come visit Clavicus Vile and help sort the falling out. He tells us that it's at Haemar's shame, and we can either tell him to screw off and we'll find the dungeon on our own time, or we can follow him. Surely this dungeon is very close by. Let's take a peek to see how long it is. Past Falkreath. There's Helgen. Wait a second. No. This'll be a hell of a walk. If you haven't discovered Haemar's shame, you can follow Barbas all the way. Just be prepared to get sidetracked by random enemies. Have him randomly leave the road, have him stop for several minutes at a time as you try to get him to move. It's a long walk. We're gonna jump ahead, and here we find the Stormcloak camp in the area, and we can follow this road straight up to the shame. Again, I do recommend either finding this location and fast traveling to it, or just telling Barbas that you'll find it on your own time. That way he doesn't get stuck anywhere along the way, and you don't have to worry about the quest breaking. Luckily, the dungeon isn't too far off the road, and it's very obvious when we reach it. Let's head inside. Inside the dungeon, there will be vampires and vampire thralls. This first room will have a weak thrall, as well as a chest, and some arrows. The dungeon is very linear, and we find a vampire near the spike trap. Let's activate it. There we go. The trap is very easy to avoid, and you can use it to take out the vampire pretty easily as well, before moving on. Eventually we'll come into a large room with a thrall and a vampire. Excellent ice spike. Heading back to the beginning of this room to check out the loot. There will be a charged skeever, as well as a couple barrels. Up where the vampire was sitting, there will be an alchemy lab, and a lot of junk. There is a chest, and a lot of books and a soul gem, but besides that, not too much else up here. Underneath the area, however, there will be 2 shelves. We'll have a helmet, a shield, a sword, as well as a couple potions we can grab, and some salts. Moving along, we once again come to a large opening, where there will be 3 vampires. Or 2 with a thrall, I guess. The third one's usually on the lower level, and there's a bunch of bodies that they'll reanimate very often. Excellent. Heading back to check out some loot, immediately heading left in the upper section, there'll be a small room with a shelf that has some potions and some books on it. Let's head back around and go down the ramp to where the stronger vampire was. Once again, we find a smattering of different books, a couple potions, and a skill book for destruction magic. Once we've looted this room, we're good to move on to the next section of the dungeon. As we round a corner, there will be a frostbite spider waiting for us. And besides the spider, there will be a few egg sacs, but nothing else in this room. Moving along, we'll find a small room with several cages, and some small loot, such as a dagger, a soul gem, salt pile. There's an enchanting table as well, and a chest. Once again, books. At least it's not urns. Moving forward, there will be a thrall. Riveting. Eventually we'll be dumped out into the Shrine for Clavicus Vile, where there will be several vampires. If you didn't travel with Barbas or took your time once he got to the shrine, he'll already be fighting them. He's invulnerable, so you don't need to worry about him dying, and he does cause a little bit of damage, and he holds aggro pretty well. Once the vampires are dealt with, we can interact with the Shrine of Clavicus Vile. Unskippable dialogue. Clavicus Vile will tell us that he'll reconcile with Barbas if we retrieve an axe for him. Exactly, yes. Many dialogue options later, we will go get the axe.
Resting in Rimerock Burrow, Barbas can lead you right to it. Little Mutt might even earn his place back at my side.
After talking with the shrine, there's a little bit of loose loot around the room, and we can head up to behind the shrine where there's a boss chest. Besides that, there will be a chain that activates a gate, and a quick exit outside the shrine. We'll head to Rimerock Burrow, and this is quite north. It's also quite vertical. If you're having trouble finding it, just head up mountains. It's a lot higher than you think it is. There will be a small wooden bridge leading to it, and you know you're in the right place if you have a pretty good view of the Volkir Castle and the Thalmor Embassy. I agree, Barbas. Inside the burrow, there will only be two enemies, an Atronach and the mage that Clavicus Vile once killed, Sebastian Lort. We're gonna sprint up to Lort, who's usually at the enchanter table, and get in some extra hits before he can do the animation of getting off the table. Don't mind the missed swings. After Lort's defeated, the Atronach. Checking out the dungeon for a little bit of loot, we'll find the axe that Clavicus Vile wanted us to retrieve, as well as a scroll, a dagger, and some alchemy ingredients. Of course, there's the arcane enchanter that Lort was on, and we can head deeper into his bedroom. Inside this area, there will be a chest, as well as books. Many, many books. There's also some loose loot, such as a coin purse and soul gem and alchemy ingredients. And here we find one more book near his bed, a conjuration skill book. I agree, Barbas. Heading back to Haemar's Shame, we're going to use that back entrance that we originally used to leave. Heading to the right from where the main entrance is, we're going to walk until we find this tree that's growing out of the rocks. It doesn't take too much effort to jump up these rocks, and here we find ourselves at the entrance. Or exit, I guess. We're ready to approach the shrine and talk to Clavicus Vile again.
Ah, you've got the axe. And my dog.
As we sit through this unskippable dialogue, we have time to think about a choice. We can either keep the axe at the cost of killing Barbas, or give the axe back, letting Barbas live. In order to get the Oblivion Walker achievement and the Daedric artifact, we have to give the axe back. It's technically not a Daedric artifact.
I'll be restored to my full power. There's a whole world just waiting for me.
Eventually, after more unskippable dialogue, we'll be rewarded with the Masque of Clavicus Vile, the real Daedric artifact, a heavy helmet. With the mask in our inventory, a Daedra's best friend is now complete.